Hey guys! Okay, so when I first started this group, it was literally like my family, a couple of friends that I knew would love LuLaRoe, but it has grown to so much more than that, which is awesome. Except I realized like we don't know each other, and so I just wanted to come on and introduce myself. I'm Nikki Osborne. I am a wife, I am a mama, I am a LuLaRoe lover. I mean, obviously, right? I've been married for a little over 12 years, which it makes me feel really old to say that. We knew each other since like junior high, so we got married pretty young. But I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 10-month-old. So I just wanted to share with you the reason that I started doing LuLaRoe. I have not shared this with anybody. Mostly because I'm a ball baby and it's very emotional for me. But I figured why not share it, right? So here we go. So last year I was pregnant with our third baby. We actually didn't want to find out what we were having because we have a boy and a girl, and so the third was going to be a surprise. And so at 30 weeks, I started swelling like really bad, like all of a sudden, just kind of came on overnight. And luckily my aunt is a nurse, and she's like, you really need to get your blood pressure checked. And so I thought like, okay, I will. But I'm generally pretty healthy and nothing ever happens to me, so I thought like, I'm sure everything's fine. But I took my blood pressure and it was a little elevated, not anything crazy, but it was a little up there, so I thought, oh, that's weird. And so I went to the doctor and they tested me and said everything was fine, everything looked good, but that I needed to continue to take my blood pressure a few times a day. So we got one of the portable like blood pressure cuffs that goes on your wrists, and I did that. I took it, morning, afternoon, night, and one day I was at home with the kids and I took it and it was high, like in the 170s, 170 over 90 or something like that. And so I called the doctor and I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. And she told me to go to my room and turn the lights off and take a nap for an hour and then take it again and call her back. And so I called my husband, I told him what was happening. He came home to be with me. And I did what she said, and after an hour I took it and it had gone up. And so I called her and she's like, you need to get to the hospital right now. So we lived an hour from the hospital, and we immediately found places for our older two to go and started the drive into town. So I remember getting to triage and they hooked me, of course, up to all the monitors and the IVs and all of that. And I remember them telling me, we have to give you a steroid shot to mature the baby's lungs in case we have to deliver. And I think I even kind of chuckled at them. Like I was like, okay, but that's not going to happen. Like I'm only 30 weeks. There's no way. And so, but I'm like, do what you got to do, whatever is the protocol. And so they did that. And as I was in triage, they couldn't get my blood pressure to come down. They gave me some IV meds, and it didn't put a dent in it. And so they admitted me. Oh gosh, it's such a blur. So the next day they put me on magnesium sulfate, which if any of you have been on that drug, it is literally like the worst I've ever felt in my life. It heats you like from the inside out, and it makes your body feel like it weighs like 1,000 pounds. Like I just felt like I was like, oh gosh, it was awful. But it was there to keep me from having seizures and a stroke. And so obviously it was necessary. So they kept me on that for an entire day, and my blood pressure was never like back to normal, but it wasn't like as high as it had gotten. So they took me off of it to just kind of see what was going to happen, and my blood pressure went right back up. And then the doctor came in and said they were going to discharge me and monitor me from home, which made my husband really nervous because we lived an hour from the hospital. And so as soon as that doctor left telling me that I was going to be discharged, the perinatologist, which is like the baby doctor, came in and did an ultrasound on me. And he's like, who told you that you're going home? You're not going home. And I said, well, he just said he was discharging me. And he's like, no, you're delivering this baby today. I'm sorry. Sorry, this is why I don't share things. So he was doing an ultrasound. He said the baby looks fine, except his abdomen is in like the 5th percentile. Like he's not getting the nutrition that he needs, and you're delivering this baby today, like within the next hour. So I went from thinking I was going to be discharged to now I'm having a baby, and Gosh, it's such a blur. Anyway, so they took me down to surgery, and I had an emergency C-section, and they delivered my son, who I found out was a boy. I kept telling him during this whole thing, I'm like, not that this is the most important thing, but we don't know what it is, so if you could still keep it a secret, that would be great. And so we found out that he was a boy, and I did hear him cry, and then everything kind of went quiet. And so my husband, sent my husband over to go check on him, and he said that they had to intubate him because once he got over being upset from being delivered, he wasn't moving enough air, and so they had to intubate him so that the machines could breathe for him. And I didn't get to touch him. They wheeled him past me, and I just saw his body and told him I loved him and I would see him soon. So they took me back to my room to kind of recover. They wouldn't let me go see him until my blood pressure was under control. I kept telling them, like, if you will let me see my son, it may lower my blood pressure because I'm a little anxious right now. But for safety reasons, they wouldn't let me go. So after, I think it was like 18 hours, I finally got to go in to see him. And he was beautiful. He was tiny. He weighed 3 pounds, 5 ounces. He was hooked up to everything. But generally he was doing pretty well. He was. And so it still took me a long time to get my blood pressure under control. They discharged me once and I had to be readmitted, and it was a mess. So I finally was recovered enough that I could be discharged. I found out actually 2 days before I ended up going into the hospital to have him that I have rheumatoid arthritis. I didn't know it at the time, but rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, and they have started to link preeclampsia, which is what I had, as an autoimmune disease as well. And so they say once you have one, you're more susceptible to have others. So that it makes sense why I had preeclampsia with him and had to deliver early. So my son stayed in the NICU for it was a little over 7 weeks. And I was traveling back and forth every day to be with him and then be home and be with our other two. And it was a really, really hard time, but a time that was filled with blessings for our whole family. And my son is now almost 10 months old. He is amazing. He is literally the happiest child that you will ever see. I feel like he kind of knows that he had a rough start, and he's just grateful to be here. And he's just everything to all of us. But because of what happened, they told me that I can't have any more kids. And so, we really didn't want to be done. And so I've just kind of been thinking a lot about fostering and adopting. Honestly, that's why I started doing LuLaRoe. I wanted to help my family get financially more stable than we've been, so that we can be prepared to be a good home for kids that don't have anywhere to go, and hopefully maybe adopt some of them. So that is why I started doing LuLaRoe. It has turned into the biggest blessing for my family. And I didn't realize I could love a job. Like, people always say it like, oh, find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm like, yeah, work is always work. But this is very hard work, but it is so fun. I can't even tell you how much I love, like, just making people's day with feeling beautiful and loving how they feel in the clothes and just feeling confident again. I started this to help my family, but I now, along with that, realize that I have found such a passion in helping other people and to developing. I love people. I just like seriously wish I could hug all of you. Like I love people. And so to be able to expand like my circle of friends and include all of you guys is a huge blessing for me, and it's awesome. And I'm sorry, this is like seriously probably the rambliest, like longest video, but I just felt like I should put it out there to you guys so that you can know me a little bit, and feel free to share about yourself so that I can know you a little bit too. I want this group to be a fun place. I don't do drama, so just so you know, I literally like run from it. So I just want everyone to have fun, be happy. I mean, it's clothes, right? How can you not be happy shopping for clothes? So, but I mean, I would love to get to know you all better. So if you ever want to share anything with me, I am here. And thank you for being here in my group. It really truly means a lot to me. Thank you for sticking through this entire video. That means a lot to me too. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.